This week's question comes from Philip from Independence, Ohio. Roger, I've been a fan for many years and religiously follow you on your TV show. Why don't TV guys do more shows on public hunting lands? All right, Phil, thanks for that question. And that's a fair question. Now, I'm assuming that you're talking about the public land like where you live and not out west where there's 10 million acres to hunt. But for me, it really becomes a matter of privacy, control, and access. Now, I know this has happened to me. You've got a spot picked out, you're sitting there and you're waiting when you're deer hunting, and here comes a guy walking right down through the middle of your hunting area. And he has just as much right to be there as you do, and I don't care if it's his first time. He has a right to be there. And usually they'll speak to you. Hey, seen anything yet? No. And now I probably won't. You know? I don't feel comfortable, now where legal, taking in tree stands and ground blinds, putting up trail cameras. I don't feel comfortable leaving them overnight, more or less for a couple of weeks. You'd like to think that most people are honest, but there's enough of them that aren't honest. Hey, George, here's one of them new Spy Point Iron 9 trail cameras. Wished I had one. And you know, a lot of public land is walk access only. Now, I'm not against walking, but I don't like to walk quite as much as I used to. And then it's just a common sense thing. Not always, but in most instances, hunting on private land, it's just better than hunting on public land. Real quick story. Absolutely true story. I'm at the SHOT Show in Las Vegas, shooting and sports show 10 years ago, and I'm in the booth with one of my sponsors, and one of their reps showed up 2 days early, and there's no rooms anywhere. Everything's booked, and it's a panic. And I said, look, there's a couple of queen beds in my room. He can bunk with me for a couple of days. You know, oh, that's great. So we get to the room. I'm ready to go to bed, and he's young and single, and he's ready to go out, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about him. So very politely, I said, you know, when you get back in, you can stay out all night if you want, but when you get back in, you know, try not to wake me up. And you're leaving by yourself. I'd appreciate if you'd return by yourself. In other words, don't bring a bunch of people back to the room. I said, and I'd appreciate if you wouldn't bring any drugs or alcohol back to the room. In other words, keep the party out there. I made him mad. I couldn't believe it. He started storming around the room, you know, and of course he's changing clothes. And he popped off at me. It's not like I couldn't hear him. He's right there. Something about you TV guys, you hunt all these great places and don't know what it's like to struggle like the rest of us. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I said, where are you from? East Texas. I said, whereabouts? Wells. I said, just north of Lufkin. Yeah. I said, is that Quality Inn still open down there on 1st Street? He said, well, I don't know. I said, well, anyway, whenever I was a painter painting apartments, working for somebody else for $7 an hour, I said, on Fridays, I'd have my stuff with me at 4:30. I'd get my paint van and I'd drive all the way to that hotel and check in, get there about midnight. Then on Saturday and Sunday, I would hunt the Davy Crockett National Forest. And after the hunt, drive back to Tulsa, get in there about 2 so that I could be back at work on Monday morning at 7:30. Never missed a day's work. I said, I did that weekend after weekend after weekend. And he lit up. His eyes got, he goes, you've hunted public land? Wait till I tell all the guys Roger Raglin has hunted public land. I thought, now we're buddies because I've hunted public land. There's not very many people anywhere in the business or out of the business that has hunted more public land than me. I could just start calling it. Holly Springs National Forest in northern Mississippi, White Rock in northwest Arkansas, the Ozark Mark Twain National Forest south of Branson, in Oklahoma, Kaw, Hula, Copan, Fort Gibson. Just start calling them out. I hunted days, weeks, months, years on these spots, public land. That's where I learned to deer hunt. And I went by myself. I didn't have somebody spoon feeding me. You want to know the secret to hunting public land? Here it is. Now write this down. The secret to hunting public lands. Avoid the mistakes that make you weak competition. Now, I promise you that's some pretty good advice. You think about it and you'll figure that out. But Phil, in the end, you and me and everybody else, we're all just alike. We're trying to find the best property we can to hunt on, and we're trying to shoot the biggest buck that we can. That's the end of the story.